his name is...
It's John Monday. It is Monday, September 2nd, but back on Tuesday, August 27th, if I remember the date correctly, I finished Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy. So my original Game Boy Color, when I first got this game, this is back when I was playing via the old grey DMG original Game Boy. So this, like I say, I got this along with the other three Final Fantasy games, not all at the same time, but from a second-hand computer shop on the Isle of Wight. That fantastic memories for going in and browsing their stock. I got so many, I got my Streets of Rage games from there as well. But yeah, so I heard of Final Fantasy, but didn't have a SNES or a SNES, so I never played any of the mainline series that the UK got. But I had heard of the brand, so I was like, oh, I'll be interested. So I bought these games, played through all of them. I only managed as a kid to beat Final Fantasy Adventure, which is technically the prequel to Secret of Mana, and Legend 3, the sequel to this one. Fine enough, with Legend 1, I actually got to the final boss but could never beat it, but I did eventually beat it during lockdown 2020. And then I did start this, not on my cartridge, but via a emulator on my DS. No, for flash cartridge, on my GBA flash cartridge. But it lost the save file, and I was just like... But then when I actually pulled this out and saw the save battery still worked, I was looking for an opportunity to play it. And it's so good to come back to this and finally beat it after all these years. So it is a turn-based game. It is actually part of the Saga, capital S, lowercase a, capital G, lowercase a series, but was rebranded Final Fantasy Legends, Legend 2, Legend 3 in America. And this is actually technically a USA cart. I don't think it got released in PAL. So I guess somebody imported it and then traded it in at that shop, which is great because I got to play it. And it even has an old save file from one of from the previous owner called Harry. So I did put up on the Facebook group for the Isle of Wight game, retro gamers, oh, Harry, if you're in this group, I still have your save file. So, but yeah, so like I say, turn-based RPG, kind of not very necessarily its gimmick, but the way it handles party progression. You don't have traditional levels, so there are 4 types of characters. You have humans, and you can pick male or female. You have mutants, male or female, robot, or monster, and then you can pick from several different monsters. So humans and mutants they kind of level up similarly, but okay, so human, if you use a strength-based weapon like a sword, for example, or an axe, you will raise the stats of your strength. They'll level up, go higher as you go along, and HP will go up automatically as time goes on. There's no oh, you're level 2. You just see your HP goes up by X amount. The problem is that if you want to raise your agility, you need to use agility-based weapons, which I didn't realize until I got to Venus. So the story of this game is that a bunch of people are pretending to be the gods. So, and she has a high agility stat, so I kept missing my attacks. So I had to go and grind agility for a while. Okay, so with mutants, HP and strength and all that raises the same way as a human, but not as quickly, or at least HP doesn't as quickly. But they can also learn magic. So you don't teach them magic, they just randomly learn magic. So, but they can also lose magic as well. So you kind of have to be careful because there could be a spell you're using and suddenly it'll disappear after a level up. Luckily though, I got to keep Cure for the entirety of the game, so I'm not sure if that was deliberate or not. But yeah, with robots, when you attach weapons, armor, or whatever, their stats increase based on it. But if you have a weapon that has because weapons across the board only have certain amount of uses before you have to replace it. So if you put on, like, say, a gun which has 30 shots, that'll change to 15 when you attach it to the robot. So yeah, so depending on what you equip on the robot affects the stats. Then with monsters, as you play through the game, when you defeat other monsters, they might leave behind meat which you can eat and evolve your monster. You can go up and down, so you do have to be careful. And definitely worth reading a guide on to make sure that there are certain points of the game where you really do need to have like all 4 party members at like the best strength they can be. I mean, okay, you don't have to pick those 4. You can pick 4 humans, 4 mutants, 4 robots, 4 monsters if you want to. You can pick your party however you want. But I decided to go for one of each because that's what I wanted to experience. So, and yeah, it's the game is difficult. Like, I was having to grind at times, but even then, like, you have to make sure that when I say grind, it's not just level up, but also grind, going back to previous areas to find the right meat to get my monster raised up. So yeah, this is a game which I think I would recommend it, but only for like maybe hardcore RPG players. If this was your first go in RPG, I think you might get a bit fed up of it. But anyway, I think for the Game Boy, I really like the art, and the story is fun. So yeah, give it a try. Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy. RPG number 10.